Did everybody see that? Meaning the inside of that cell is more negative, outside is more positive, and therefore I have my cells ready to perform an action, just waiting for the nerve impulse. So at rest, I have a membrane potential. This membrane that I'm sort of representing right here has the potential to do something. Does that make sense? We measure this, all right, and because there is a difference, negative versus positive, okay, because there is a difference, okay, we have voltage in that cell and we can measure it. Now, we know inside it's more negative, outside more positive. The way that we maintain the situation is with our little sodium potassium pumps. Then we have some of the leak channels. You guys remember the leak channels where potassium is they're more permeable to potassium. So it kind of just back and forth, okay? Now, this needs to be present for a potential to take place. I can measure this, all right? I can measure this electricity of these cells. Why would the ability to measure the electricity of these cells be clinically significant? Let's think about the EEG, the electroencephalogram. The one where you get all that stuff, all those little sticky things stuck all over your head. They hook you up to a machine. They get a little readout. Let's think about the ECG. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm just so used to EKG. I don't know. Okay? Because electrocardio, you would think cardio C. Okay? But you know that you can get the little sticker things placed on you. They turn on the machine to get the readout. Myogram. They can take a myogram, put the little lead, whatever muscle they're trying to look at, okay? Turn it on and get a little readout. What would be clinically significant about this?
Something helpful to patients, like the myogram. So you can have if the muscle is functioning properly, or if it's functioning at all.
Okay? Very good. If we think about the one that is for the myogram, you think about the one that's for the myogram, that is very clinically significant. People who might have muscular dystrophy, multiple sclerosis, other muscular disorders, this is a routine test for them, all right? Because they are testing to see the actual activity of that muscle.
Like the EKG, and those, like some patients, like when they say they have chest pain, like a stroke or something, so that's when we use the EKG or ECG.
Our ECG, because that's letting us know that they had a heart attack, okay? EEG, what about that one? My brain activity. It can let me know about brain disorders, brain injuries, every bit of this electricity that I'm trying to talk about is clinically significant. Every bit of this electricity is based on the ions. which brings me back to my original topic that I started class with. What was that original topic from week 1? At my cellular level. I am now, how many systems have we gone through? Integumentary, bone, muscle. Have I missed any for the semester? We're gonna talk about the nerve. Okay.
You were so fast.
Okay. It has. It really has. I mean, for it to be a 16-week class, it's gone by really quick. Everything I've brought back to this level. All right? Which brings me back to the fact that everything's going to be these ions. Okay? And that's why they're so important in the body. So, the channels, like we just said, I've got those little weak channels. These are the ones that are most active when the cell is at rest. When I begin to have a nerve impulse, all right, light and gated are going to be very active. Voltage gated will be very active. My sodium potassium pumps will be very active, all right? And when we look at the structure of the skeletal muscle, okay, when we think about the fact, let's go back for a second and let's think about how, if I have the large to medium nerve that will enter into this muscle as a whole, along with an artery and a vein, everything that comes in is going to begin to branch, okay? And as I branch, if I were to take and peel and hold up one of these fibers, somewhere along that fiber would be an end of that nerve meeting it. Okay? Well, those channels, okay, if you think back to our very first topic during week 1, at the point where the nerve is going to meet, once this is stimulated, and you'll have your vesicles, in those vesicles is going to be my neurotransmitter, the acetylcholine, that will get released into my synapse. The ligand gated will be here to attach. It's only that spot. Okay? Only in that area where the nerve is feeding the muscle am I going to find my ligand gated. Does that make sense? Once I have the ligand attached, my little gate will open up, sodium will rush in. Once my sodium rushes in, I'm now making the inside very positive rather than negative where it wants to be, okay? I affect my voltage gated. And every time I affect a voltage gated, sodium rushes in. Is everybody following me? So, every time I do this, I'm affecting the electricity that I can measure. I'm going from the point of being more negative to being more what? Positive. So with these channels being present and allowing the movement of the ions, I am affecting the electricity in that cell. The polarity. What do I mean by polarity? my difference in the charges. What's the charges, Austin? My negative and my positive. So, if I look at what's taking place and I think about an XY axis, all right, is everybody with me? Right here at this point, does everybody agree that that's 0? That this is negative, this is positive, this is negative, this is positive. Does everybody agree with me? Because I can look at this and then think about the fact that I have electricity that can be measured. Guess what we have come up with, or I should say they. Guess what they tell us about the number? 98.6 is our average. Is that correct? So now they're going to tell me I have an average that should be present in the text. Okay? So, because we're looking at animal cells, us, all right? When we think about polarity, I think about a plug-in. I think about how the electrical impulse that moves along this wire, so that when I plug something in, all right, it does what it's supposed to do. And how does that work? Awesome. How does that work? How does that polarity work in that wire? My negative and my positive. If I think about a car battery, I have a terminal that is negative and positive. And if I need somebody to, like, I learned this the fun way, okay? Battery goes dead. You need, like, junk battery, all right? You got to make sure, first of all, those little jump cable ends, that you got them on the right terminal, right? Right, okay? And then, once the car gets started, you take them off. Make sure that either you turn the original car off, or you have removed those cable things from the terminals on that battery, okay, before you allow the other 2 ends, the ones you took off, to touch. That's fun. All right, I learned that lesson the hard way. Y'all want to take a guess what happened? Almost set my scrub on fire in front of the house. Okay? It was fun. What happened? Okay?
Make sure one car turned off.
Good deal to make the one that you have, make sure you remove those little cable connectors, okay, from the one that you use.
Okay.
And that you, and if you take them off from this car over here, don't let them touch.
Okay.
Until you've done that. Okay? Trust me on that, or turn that up far off. Okay, so that comes to us in voltage, right? I think about something being 120 volts. I think about something being 20 volts or 9 volts. Think about a little 9-volt battery. All right? Think about a little 9-volt battery. All right? That doesn't seem very difficult. But in our cells, that's huge. Okay? So we operate on millivolts, a millionth of a volt. Under normal circumstances, when a muscle cell is at rest, we are down here roughly at -85. Because the